Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It is Jennifer. I'm super excited to introduce you to our guest today. We are going to be talking with Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Beans Benes, and he is a Marine Corps Osprey pilot, and he is an acquisitions professional and a voice actor. He was raised in Southern California and is now based in Southern Maryland with his wife and two kids. He has served in the Marines since 2004 with 5 deployments, including 2 to Afghanistan, and has flown in support of both President Trump and President Biden as a part of the Presidential Helicopter Squadron. Following his latest flying tour, he transitioned to acquisitions, where he continues to support the Osprey within the V-22 Joint Program Office. As he approaches retirement later this year, Ryan is carrying his passion for storytelling and authenticity into a second career as a professional voice actor. So join me in welcoming Ryan. Hi, Ryan. How are
Hey
you?
there. No, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you. So you have such an interesting resume. Why don't you tell me a little bit about like, what were you like in high school? How did you get into the military? And I have to know about flying a helicopter. So kind of walk
Sure.
me through your early years here.
So, I mean, growing up in Southern California was like the dream. It was great. You
Hmm.
surf in the morning and, go skiing in the afternoons if you wanted to drive up to the mountains. But to be honest, after high school, just a little bit lost. Didn't know what I
Hmm.
wanted to do. Like a lot of people,
Yep.
didn't do great in junior college for a little while,
Hmm.
um, and just wanted to have fun. Didn't have um, you know, a goal in mind really where I wanted to go. Had a great time being a bartender and waiter for several years.
Hmm.
I liked working with people, but eventually, my dad, he's a former Marine Corps pilot, airline pilot as well. Um, kind of sat me down. He's like, "Son, like you need to make a decision here of what you're going to do with your life." And I was 20 years old at the time, so
Hmm.
seems like so long ago now. So I was like, well, you know what? I want to fly. I decided that. So I was like, great. So I'm gonna be a pilot. I'm gonna be a commercial pilot. So starting in 2000, I started flight training, and I was good at it. I'm not afraid to say that, and it worked out well. And so I moved myself from Southern California up to the Bay Area. Lived in Alameda. Went to flight school there in Oakland,
Hmm.
and just the world kind of fell apart on 9/11. So I
Yeah.
was on my way to flight school that morning when got news of the trade towers, and 90% of my class quit the next day. And I made a decision shortly thereafter that I would rather fly for the military than the airlines at that point in my life. So I continued training in the airline or the flight school pipeline to get my qualifications, and then went back to college, got my degree, and then joined the Marines in 2004. So
Wow.
that was that route. Mhm.
That's so interesting. It's not what I thought it was going to be. So that was very, very interesting. I do just want to comment. I love something that you said, and I'm not, embarrassed to say it. I love that you just embrace that strength. That like, yeah, I'm really good at that, and I think that that's something that I work with a lot of students who are learning English, and
Mhm.
it's very different culturally in the U.S. to just comment like, yeah, this is my strength, and this is something that I'm really, really good at, and
Right.
it's great to say that because then you need to share that to kind of sell your skills to other people.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, all right. So then now you're in the military.
Mhm.
And were you in the US for a while or did you go straight to Afghanistan at the time? Or,
Oh, so it's a long you got the training pipeline, so being a pilot takes quite a while, especially for the Osprey, because it's
what is
both.
that? I don't know what that is.
I thought you might ask, so actually I
Yeah.
have a model.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, don't mind me. So this is well, get the Osprey in there. So there it
Oh,
is.
wow. Like a
So
big helicopter.
well, it's a tilt rotor, so it flies like an airplane and also like a helicopter. So I can land
Oh,
like a helicopter, pick up, and then turn into an airplane and fly places really far away. So
Oh, that is fascinating. Okay,
It
thanks for
fills
that.
that very niche role, like, if you had to land on an island 1,000 miles away that's the size of a football field, well, a helicopter's not gonna get there, and, you're not gonna land a jet on there, but the Osprey can. So,
Oh,
for
that is
example, like, I've
fascinating.
I've flown from North Carolina across the pond to Europe in the Osprey, and then I can
Wow,
still land, in a soccer field.
that's
So,
crazy.
it's unique in that role, so but,
Okay.
yeah, so it takes a while to train, so
Mhm.
starting in 2004, you go through basically OCS, which is boot camp for officers. Then you go through the basic school, which is 6 months of, well, uniqueness to the Marine Corps, where you learn how to be an infantryman or woman,
Mhm.
um, which is kind of like how we all in the Marine Corps. It's very unique. Like, we work around the infantry. Everybody
Mhm.
supports the infantry, whether you're air or land, doesn't matter. So we do that for 6 months, and then you finally start your, in my case, flight school, where you learn fixed wing, then you go fly helicopters, and you come back to fixed wing. And so by the time I graduated flight school, it was the end of 2008. So
Okay.
it took a long time.
It takes a while, yeah.
hmm And at that point, yeah, I got into my first fleet squadron in 2009 for the Osprey, and then shortly thereafter deployed to Afghanistan in 2010. So it was short lived. I was only in the squadron for a little bit of time, a nugget as we kind of get called, or the
Mhm.
young guy, and away we went. So
Okay. Wow, that's fascinating. So if someone doesn't know, can you explain what infantry is?
infantry is, basically the backbone of, well, most of the military force. They're the guys you see running around with the guns on the ground is the easiest way I can say it. So
Okay. That's
they're the boots
fair.
on the ground.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've got your armored support, your tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, those kind of things, and you've got
Mhm.
your infantry, which are just your foot soldiers for the most part. They get supported by aviation assets like me, um, or other assets as well. So
Okay. And I have one more question.
sure.
For people who aren't familiar with the military rankings, can you give us like a simple, we don't need all of them, but like what's kind of the, as you move up the ranks, like what are the basic ones?
So you have your enlisted and your officer
Mhm.
ranks. And a lot of time, well, you have to have a degree to become an officer,
Mhm.
and you go through a different training pipeline, and you get trained a different way, to basically command and control units and assets. You start out as a brand new second lieutenant, a little gold bar, work your way
Mhm.
up to first lieutenant, then you're a captain, which is the equivalent of an ensign in the Navy. So, like, you might remember, like, the original Top Gun,
Yeah.
he had the 2 shiny bars.
Mhm.
That's a captain equivalency in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
So that's where the bulk of your pilots are for the most part. They're doing the work as captains.
Mhm.
When you become a major, you kind of become uh, part of the management level at that point,
Okay.
and then
Mhm.
you reach my rank. You're a lieutenant colonel. That's that upper management, before you really get into your colonels and your general officers at that point. So,
Okay. That was
yeah,
excellent. Thanks
but
for that.
yeah.
All right. One other thing that I wasn't really familiar with, I have some family members who were in the Navy and the Marines, and I didn't know that that was kind of the same, like how related
Mhm.
those two branches were. Um, and I was also fascinated that most of the time, people in the military just have regular jobs. So if someone's kind of interested in going into the military, can you talk us through a little bit like what are some of the jobs that you had? Because we're not always fighting, but most of the time we're not. We're
Mhm.
just here. So like what are some things that people do in the military?
Sure. Before I do that, I called a captain the equivalent of an ensign a minute ago. I meant lieutenant.
Okay.
Somebody would get very upset, and I didn't
Okay,
mean to
tell
scare
me.
them.
Hmm.
But uh, you're right. Well, um, the vast majority of the military is not what we call combat arms.
Hmm.
The ones that you envision kicking down doors or firing
Yeah.
artillery.
Hmm.
Um, there's most of the support roles. So logistics, admin, medical. The United States is basically, we have the greatest, like, logistics military in the world. Um, and we have to, because we project power so far, and so
Uh-huh.
we can support everybody at long ranges, and that's just due to all these different roles and responsibilities and billets, as we call them, and all the branches to support that to happen. So, um, from all the day-to-day actions of getting you checked in and out of units to making sure you're up to date on all your vaccines to um, any litany of things you would imagine in a small little city. It's
Mhm.
kind of what the military is. They run all that. So your electricians, your food techs, your truck drivers, all those, it's all packed into the military. So
That's fascinating. And then do you get to pick what you want to do, or are you kind of steered into an
you get steered. Usually some people get a choice. And in my case, I got a shot, is what they call it in the Marine Corps. Like, we will give you a shot at aviation.
okay.
If you fail out, we're going to put you somewhere else, but we're going to
Okay.
give you a shot. So it's like, okay, that's all I need.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll take a test before you go in the military. It's kind of your aptitude test.
Mhm.
They'll find out where your strengths and weaknesses are and where you might be able to apply your skills. So maybe you're really good at computer, technical skills, anything like that. They might steer you in that direction. You may go in with the sole goal of being infantry or
Mhm.
jumping out and deploying parachutes and all that kind of stuff. And if that's your choice, yeah, you can push for that, certainly.
Mhm.
And definitely if you go in, like, in the reserves, for example, where you're not active duty, you're serving that one weekend a month, you really get a choice up front of what job you want to have.
Okay.
So
So that's a great place for someone who really doesn't know
mhm,
what they want to do in life to try the military, because there are so many opportunities and so many types of training that you can get that can really set you up for your career. Now,
mhm,
you've been in the military for about 20 years,
yep,
and how I know you kind of have to start planning for what's next
mhm.
kind of a while before, because it's not like you're just finished this one day and then you're kind of moving on. So, how did you kind of start planning for your transition, which I know is coming up here?
Well, thankfully, the military lays it all out for you. They're like, "These are
Okay.
the requirements you have to do. You've got to take these separations courses, learn how to put on a suit and tie, learn how
Oh,
to write a resume, learn how to talk civilian."
that's
And simply,
interesting.
yeah. Well, we in the military, when we have like a, kind of a dark humor sometimes,
Mhm,
and some things are just not acceptable in the civilian workforce. You learn, like, what you should and shouldn't say, and how to hold yourself, and how to have a normal conversation without,
mhm.
like, not everybody can relate to your acronyms too. And I still catch myself doing that. Like, we have our own lingo in the military,
Right.
and people just don't understand that. If I said, like, yeah, I'm going to go VFR direct to the store today, I say that to my wife sometimes. Like,
Okay.
it's
And
an
what does that
aviation term for just basically going in a straight line, um, to do aviation, yeah, visual flight
Oh,
rules. You're just flying visually, and you're just going there, like, as the crow flies.
okay.
Um,
Interesting.
it just there's a litany of things like that, so it's like it's good.
All right. So that's great too. So once you're in the military, they kind of are there to help you figure out what to do and then kind of how to transition.
Yep.
So, such great opportunities for young people. Like,
Mhm.
I know so many people who have gone into the military not knowing what they want to do, and it really worked out great for them. So,
Mhm.
I'm a huge proponent. So, thanks for sharing
Absolutely.
all of that.
Yeah, it's
So,
4 years if they wanted to do it. Is kinda, 4 years to you get out at you start at 18, 22, you're out, and you've just got that behind you. I'm a veteran the rest of my life.
yeah,
And, you may get a marketable skill, like, but at the end of the day, you're probably gonna find something about yourself, which is what I did. Like, you find out what limits you really have and don't
yeah.
have, and that's the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah, that is such an invaluable piece of knowledge, is to know yourself. Because
Mhm.
I think sometimes when kids are 18, I was like this. You think you kind of know everything, you kind of think you really know yourself, and
Mhm.
you only know what you know. And then not until you get out there and like really experience things can you really find out what you like and who you are. I know so many kids, they go into college and they think, I'm going to do this because that's what they've always thought they were going to do. And then they get there and they're like, oh, I don't, this is not for me. And then you invested all of this, and so the military is offers so many opportunities, which I think is great. And I know my sister-in-law, she was in the military and that helped put her through school. So
Mhm.
that's how she
Yep.
went to school. So there's just lots and lots of options for that. So, what's next for you? It sounds like you're completely changing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it
what's coming up? Tell us.
so professional voice actor, which is, it's a bit of a transition,
Hmm.
um, going from a field that is, known for a lack of emotion, if you will.
Yeah.
You have to be very, very compartmentalized to trying to harness that emotion into voice acting and the different reads that I do. And
Mhm.
it's been great to learn that so far. So I've been doing it for about 5 years. And I listened back to the stuff I was recording 5 years ago, and you're like, wow,
Mhm.
like it's different. And you're always getting better. Like you can never stop improving. But so yeah, that's what's next for me. Is
Okay. I love what you said. This is kind of becoming a theme with everyone that I talk to, which is, oh, when I look back at what I first did, I'm kind of like, oh, like it's so different now. It's so much better now. And I think that
Mhm.
that's such a good lesson that kind of keeps coming up, which is like, no one's perfect when they start something. It's just you kind of get better and better as you work through it. How did you find this first? This is kind of a niche thing to be a voice actor.
um,
You have a great voice, but like,
well, thanks. Yeah, and
how did you find
that's
it?
not what it's important anymore. It's like it can help sometimes. Like the first time anybody told me I had a good voice was I was working the drive-through at McDonald's when I was 15,
Hmm.
and somebody's like, "Wow, like you should do radio." I still remember that. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, thanks. Well, here's your Big Mac." And but then you hear it, and then it gets you thinking. Then the more you like to communicate and storytell, and it was in Afghanistan again, 2012. I was in my rack, which is your bed at night, and I was
Hmm.
thinking about it. I'm like, I want to tell stories and act when I'm done. And so I ordered a microphone and a bunch of equipment, and I had it shipped to my house. It would be waiting for me when I got home,
Hmm.
and I didn't open it. Life got in the way when I got back, and
Hmm.
only well, COVID was terrible in many ways, but in other ways it opened some doors. So like I was like,
Yeah.
I got a little bit of time now sometimes to
Hmm.
open that box up and, and started learning.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that started.
That's amazing. Have you always been into storytelling, or is this something you?
Yes, but I don't think I realized how much I was enjoying it. It was part of my personality. People like to,
Oh.
just joke around, tell stories, but
Mhm.
people think voice actors, they think, that voice of God or the 90s announcer, the
Mhm.
trailers of movies, and then you start to realize, wow, it's a lot more than that. It's all your commercials, and there's a story behind every one of them, and that's what the learning curve has been. Is I listen back, like I said, to my early reads, and it's just like, well, anybody can read something,
Yeah.
but it's now I have to take even something that's about toothpaste, or maybe there is a real emotional read in there, but who am I telling this to? And why do they care? And why is the listener going to care? And if
Mhm.
you don't have that connection in there, the audience isn't going to care, and it's going to sound like AI.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing these days, obviously, is AI. It sounds great, but it doesn't have a soul.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that emotional background of the loss of a pet, or the birth of a child, or a deployment to combat, or any of those, a litany of emotional backgrounds you can draw on.
Mhm.
I did a read recently where I was remembering how I felt when I came back from the MEU, which is a Marine Expeditionary Unit. We float
Mhm.
around on a small aircraft carrier for about 7 months. My daughter was 2, and I was terrified when I got home that my daughter wouldn't remember me.
Hmm.
She was so small when I left,
Mhm.
and that emotional is ingrained in my brain, and so I draw on that sometimes for certain reads where it's an emotional pull,
Yeah.
and AI can't do that. It'll sound good, but it's heartless.
Yeah, there's something that's missing.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I love 2 things that I love that you said. Number 1 is that you had time, like, once COVID hit, and also when you were laying in your bunk. I think you had all of this time to kind of think and process, so it's interesting to me that you kind of had these quiet times to kind of come to this realization and then to actually finally act on it. So I want to hear a little bit more about that. And then also, this is just for my typical audience. I just say this all the time, and this struck me since you're doing this professionally.
Mhm.
It's more about the audience and not about you. It's about
100%.
what do my students want? And it's the same thing that I say to my students all the time, which is you need to be clear. You
Yep.
don't have to be perfect, but you need to be clear and you need to be authentic, and it needs to be from you. And like you said, like all of that emotion and all of your
Mhm.
experiences really, really help with that.
Yep.
Um, Talk to me a little bit about your thinking time, because I feel like this kind of keeps coming up, is that you have these like aha moments when you're just like when you have a lot of time. Is this like a something that happens to you often in your life, or is it just these two times?
No, I mean, well, yeah, I do try to brainstorm and think, and where is this? I normally keep a recorder in my car,
Oh wow.
um,
Hmm.
and as thoughts come in, I'll record them, and just kind of process those later. Um,
That's a great tip.
Writing things down all the time. Yeah, I've got the notebooks. I'm old school.
Oh,
I'm terrible with Google Maps. Yeah, it's like, it's like
I have
on
paper
my big
everywhere.
calendar. Yeah, just
Yeah. Hmm.
without that, I'd get lost. And I'll write little things in there as soon as I think about them,
Yeah.
and fall back on those notes. So
Interesting. Yeah. So writing things down and thinking, I love that. So what makes someone successful as a voice actor?
So again, it's not the voice. There's a
Yeah.
voice for everything. You've got children, you've got pets, you've got animals, you've got everybody voices something, and they're all unique. And
Hmm.
everybody, like you said the buzzword a second ago, which is authenticity.
Hmm.
If you're authentic to yourself, that's what people want. But
Hmm.
it's taken me years, and I'm still working on it to be authentic. It
Hmm.
is so hard to get in front of a microphone and not talk to the microphone
Yeah.
or to the ladies and gentlemen, today it's like, what are you talking about? Nobody's, you're talking to a real person at the other end of the line, and that's what it takes to be successful.
Yeah.
You have to have marketing, you have to have business skills, so you can't just, have some great acting ability. At the end of the day, it is a business. So that's the other part of my training all the time is learning how to run a business.
Yeah.
So
Did
um,
you learn any of the running of the business while you were in the military or even at McDonald's? I love that that was your one of your first jobs. Did
sure.
you
I mean, I
learn
guess
it there?
yeah, I've learned a little bit all along the way. So
Mhm.
McDonald's to the waiting jobs to, I got a business management degree, which is now woefully out of date.
Yeah.
But you learn a lot of those things there. And then, of course, all the books. There's so many books. And then just, not giving up. I'm reading one, where is it right now? It's Failing Forward. And it's just learning from your mistakes and,
Mhm.
realizing that your failures aren't, a failure of you. It's just, the most successful people out there fail constantly,
Yeah.
and they embrace that and just be cool. I learned from that and move on.
Mhm.
Um, and that's kind of been business as well, is like little failures here and there. I go, well, I'm not going to do that. But I learned from it and I'll make an adjustment. So
Yeah.
it's so blessed now with like, well, not a fan of AI for voice and stuff, but it is great for helping you with, I'll help it or help me build business plans and Excel spreadsheets for tracking of things. And it's really useful for that. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big I love AI.
Mhm.
I personally don't think it's going to take over everyone's jobs. I think everything's going to shift. And I do think that it's such a great tool, like you were saying. Like I can do so much more in my business
Mhm.
with it. And everyone's worried, like, well, it can kind of teach your lessons, but it kind of can't, because my lessons are authentic to me because of my experiences. I grew up with a regional accent. And so, like, I
Yep.
get the pain points of my students. And like you said, you're kind of drawing on your emotions, and AI just doesn't have that. It's still just a
Mhm.
machine, even though it is learning as it's processing through things.
Yep.
But I definitely think it's a good tool that is
It is.
definitely here to stay.
And I'm seeing
Um,
more people come back and be like, "Hey, we used AI. We'd like to hire you instead."
yeah,
Um,
that's
because
interesting.
well, people like that. Well, some of the younger generations like human interaction is a little more difficult sometimes. Um, but at the end of the day, if you're a producer, you want to talk to somebody. I had a phone call today. I was just talking through it. I was like, "Well, what are you thinking through this?" Like, "Oh, we can have a conversation. I can
Yeah.
change a word here or there, uh,
Mhm.
and you can have that connection there. And I can shoot a happy birthday email, and you know, people still need that."
Yeah, it's all about connections. What were you like as a kid?
I was, I don't know. I was a bit of a greaser, if you will. I was big into cars, had the rolled
Mhm,
up jeans, and just the Converse shoes. I didn't know what my place was in the world, but
mhm,
I was a little wild. Um, I needed some discipline, which is what
mhm.
the Marine Corps definitely gave me.
Yeah.
Um, but I was outgoing, fun, but I always describe myself actually as like um, an introvert with an extrovert's exoskeleton. Like,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
like my alone time. I like to work alone a lot, but at the same time, like I put on, when I need to be, um, outward and around other people. And sometimes that's nice, but I also need my, you know, um, antisocial time. So a
Mhm,
little bit of that going through high school. Um, everybody's got rough upbringings, like with school and stuff. I was bullied more than I wanted to be, growing up, and I got a lot of regrets on how I handled that. Now I'm like, oh,
mhm,
why did I just take some of that stuff? And it's part of growing up. Just depends on where you are in life.
mhm.
Um, but it shaped the person I am now, and I learned and grew, and yeah. So
Seems like you've always had just tenacity and hard work and curiosity, though.
absolutely, yeah, I was always like an inventor, and wanted to, go forward and build things, do things, kind of the entrepreneurial spirit a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I love that. Um, and just, creating something new, and that mindset. That was always fun. It's terrible at math, but great at all the other
Really?
studies. Yeah, surprisingly. So, even in the Osprey, well, thankfully we have a calculator in there.
Okay. Oh,
So
that's interesting. I'm kind of surprised that they have a calculator in there. Um, so I'm curious. I really am fascinated with all of your different experiences, like a bartender, working in a restaurant, working in fast food, the military,
Mhm.
voiceovers. Is there like one characteristic or kind of like through line that has helped you in each of those, or something that you've learned?
Being empathetic, well, I'm pretty good at reading people, and I can just, I don't know, I know how to relate to people whether I like them or not a lot of times, and you learn that really quickly, especially in like um the service industry,
Hmm.
um and just being able to work well with other people, whether you like them or not, and that's critical in the military too. You have to be able to read people and work with them, and find out how they like to be led or lead.
Hmm.
um some people like to be told, and some people just, there's other ways, and you learn all that. So I think that's just figuring that out quickly has been one of the strengths through time.
Yeah. You just seem like you are just here to help everyone. And just, I love that.
Some people wouldn't say that, but yeah, it's
Well,
been.
that's what comes across. I mean, you sound like you just really do care
Mhm,
about other people and you want to help them the best way that they need to be helped. And I
yeah,
think that's just commendable.
mhm.
Um, so do you have any tips for people who are transitioning out of the military, or who maybe want to start something that's even just completely different like you are, even if they're not in the military? Any big tips for people?
You got to start with a plan. Look at your finances. Like at the end of the day, there's still logic that applies. Like what
Hmm.
can you not do, and
Yeah.
what can you afford to do?
Hmm.
Uh, Make sure your basic needs are met before you jump off the bridge and take that big risk sometimes. And if you can afford to do it, do it. Uh,
Hmm.
you don't want to have any regrets later, and that's kind of what this is. There's so many resources. If you're in the military, the resources are there. Seek them out. everything from what you'll find on military1source.com to what you can find on Reddit.
Mhm.
There's stuff out there, um, and take advantage of all the opportunities. I know a lot of people that just choose to not take advantage of the things that are offered to them because, like, I don't need that, or I don't have time, or
Mhm.
um, you're not going to get that chance again. So
Yeah.
use those opportunities while you have them. And any other career, it's just, you know, if it's a passion of yours, make it happen. Like, there's a way to do it, and you learn that in the military. It's like you don't have limitations. Like, your mind can push you to do just about anything you want.
Mhm.
So um, apply yourself and do it, especially if you're younger. Oh man, like it's
Yeah.
world is your oyster. Like, there's so many opportunities. Yeah. Yep.
I couldn't agree more. I'm a big believer in just say yes to any opportunity that comes your way. You don't know what it's going to lead to.
Mhm.
And I couldn't agree with you more that your mind is your greatest limiting factor, but also your greatest strength. You just have to like harness all the good and like push all that like
Yep.
negative doubt out of your mind.
Mhm.
And I also love just do it, especially when you're young. You have nothing but time. I remember looking back and thinking like I was so busy. I'm like, oh, for
Mhm.
goodness sakes.
Oh
No,
yeah.
you're not when you're 18. You have nothing but time. Like
Yeah.
even if you're working two jobs and going to school, you still have time
And
on
put
your
that money in
hands.
your retirement account.
Yes, exactly.
There's
Yeah.
always gonna be more money later. I'll make more money. I'll put more money into IRA later, or whatever it is. Just start. Yeah.
Start compounding interest. I love it.
It's
I think it's like a
huge.
miracle. It is a miracle. So my signature close is I always want to know I just want to help people in this world. That's why I have my
Mhm.
YouTube channels. That's why I'm doing this. So many people have helped me over the years. Like I would not be here without
Mhm.
just everyone helping me. So I know it takes a lot of hard work and saying yes to things, but who has helped you the most? You don't have to name names. You can if you want to, but like, how did they help you?
There's too many. Like,
Hmm.
because, well, in the military, you move around so much, and every command is different too. So I'm gonna a few probably. So, like, my
Okay.
father for getting me off my butt, so to speak,
Hmm.
and pursuing a career choice at some point
Yeah.
in my youth. Um, and then early on in the career, just the things you get taught, which shape your entire career later on. The basics, like excel in the basics, bloom where you're planted. Like, I had a job I hated at first in the Marine Corps, and I was like, that's like bloom where you're planted, beans. And I
Hmm.
did. And I did good at it. And then I moved into another job, and you carry that reputation with you. And I was like, oh, wow, reputations are important. That
Hmm.
reputation carried through until probably, I would say, like, I was vouched for to join the presidential helicopter squadron. And your reputation that's been built on all these years before you, it's, members, say, that's the guy or gal.
Hmm.
Um, and that was, I know people that vouch for me, and that means a lot. Um, and it's not fake speech anymore. It's not just, oh yeah, dude, you're the best or whatever. It
Hmm.
really comes to fruition then when you're like, wow, they really thought so, or they wouldn't put you in a position like that
Yeah.
sometimes. So um, that means a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're helping two presidents, you must be good at
Well,
your job.
it's a great job, and I loved working that one. It's one of the few places that there's no politics, there's no nothing. You just focus on your job and
Hmm.
fly, and you be the best pilot you can, and that's it. It's
Okay.
great.
We're gonna need to have you back on because I really
I'd love
do
to.
want to know what it is like flying in the presidential, what is it called? Helicopter,
Squadron, yeah. So fleet
like
of executive lift, yeah.
executive lift. I love that. Is it called like Air Force One or Helicopter One or anything? Do they have a
Well,
term
so
for
whatever aircraft the president is on is designated that. So
it?
if
Oh, I
he's on
didn't
an
know
Air
that.
Force jet, it's Air Force One. If he's on a Marine Corps helicopter, it's Marine One.
Oh,
Um, so yeah.
I never knew that.
So all
Something.
the helicopters the Marine or the all the helicopters the president uses are from the Marine Corps, and typically all Air Force One jets are, well, Air Force. So
Okay. Well, I learned something new. Ryan, I could keep talking to you all day. You are so fascinating. I loved sharing a little more about the military and all the opportunities and just your transition, which I know you're kind of undergoing now. Is there
Mhm.
anything that I didn't get to that you want to talk about before we sign off here?
No, we'll have to do it again.
Yeah,
Just so many lessons learned out there. Just yeah, you don't know what you're capable of until you really just apply to it. So
yeah.
yeah.
You're an inspiration. This was so great. Thank you
Well,
so
thank
much.
you again. No, you've been phenomenal too. So thank you so much.
Thanks. And if someone wants to contact you or
Mhm.
maybe even learn a little bit more about the military, do you
Sure.
have anywhere people can learn more?
CallsignVO is my website for
Mhm,
voiceover. It's got my email address on there as well. It's just ryan@callsignvo.com.
mhm.
Um, Reach out if you got questions on the military, aviation, voice stuff,
Okay.
um, how to build a voice booth.
Oh, I might be
Yeah,
calling you about that. I get lots of complaints about my microphone situation.
yeah. So, well, I don't do my recordings. I have a whisper room over on the side of me, which is like a big box, 4x4.
Okay.
But yeah, happy to talk through where I started in a closet to where it is now. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being here, Ryan. It's been just a delight. And I'll see you guys all again soon. Take care.